got lots of production, all that. Dave Tuff, production, educator. Yes, he sings as well. Dave Tuff, production, educator, predominantly melody side of production. James, jack of all trades, does a lot of music festival stuff and whatnot. Trey Rowland, I own a company that does music licensing for TV and film. And then we hadn't quite gotten to you, Victoria.
Yes, so I actually worked music festivals with him and then helped him with management and stuff, but I can't stand managing. I can't do it. People don't listen.
Hand off all your clients over here.
I mean, honestly, I'm just like, if you just listen and do what we say. They don't.
I couldn't do it either. I've done it. I don't have the patience. I lack it. I lack it.
It's like having kids.
Okay. Multiple kids and they're drunk most of the time.
Watch your dad's
No, this is my biggest paranoia. I'm just gonna walk in. Yeah, go. Come on in. No, we'll round table this. So we just did some of the introductions. You know,
Good old days.
I don't want to create.
Let's do like elementary school. We could go around and say our names.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea.
Cool. Well, I'm Nick. I'm an artist, singer, songwriter, playing a rock band, tours the nation. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And where are you from?
Australia.
All right.
Yeah, here on a visa.
That's cool, man.
I'm Matt. I'm actually in the legal industry. I'm a legal assistant at Lewis Road Rocket Pussy in Glendale, but I'm also a musician, and this just seemed really interesting.
I'm Ashley. I'm in a band called Witherword with this guy, and we also travel the country, play music full time, produce our own music.
I'm Ed. I'm in Witherword with her, and I do a lot of the engineering, audio production for the group.
My name is Matt, and I own a company called Loop, where we distribute multi-track stems for live performance. And so we do a lot of, well, everything we sell is covers of original songs, licensed stuff. We also sell master tracks too, so we don't have to license those.
That's really unique. I had not heard of that before. That's pretty awesome.
My name is Felipe, and I'm the owner of a company called Dreamfoot Experience. Pretty much you can play guitar and keyboards with your foot and control chord progressions. But we're going to get into now more of songs and being able to import and getting into licensing.
I'm Daniel Park, music promoter, record promoter, event promoter.
I guess we're
Yeah,
Dave
we'll go
Tuff, teach music business at Belmont University in Nashville. Producer, a lot of film TV stuff that I do, so that's fun.
I'm Justin. I'm a songwriter, producer, and run a small company.
I'm Evan. I'm a composer and artist, and have my own company, ESR Music.
I got Giddens. I represent Bobby Sparks, Mark Walker. Also,
And I think we kind of already did it, but I'm Tori, and and I work a lot of music festivals and stuff, and I work with him with managing and stuff, but I hate it. I hate that. And I hate booking. I mean, I like all the things he does and he's really excited about. I'm like, just drives me crazy. But I want to learn more. I want to be helpful.
Yeah.
Even if I don't do a lot, I want to be able to input a lot. So there you go.
And I'm Brian Cochran, and jack of all trades, master of none. Have a company called iMusic Boss, where we help people start and manage their own independent record label.
I'm Roland Follansby, but I go by Trey, songwriter and all that, but predominantly I own a company that does music licensing for TV and film, both macro and micro licensing, the whole nine. Yeah.
And what does that mean?
Major TV shows and film productions. We had stuff in Empire and Glee, Don Cheadle show House of Lies. Got one of his songs in a Seth Rogen movie, Observe and Report, a number of years back. But a lot of the time we handle TV stuff, good relationships with CW, some of the major networks, NBC Sports, CBS Sports, all that. And then the micro licensing is your nickel and dime $40 licenses for wedding videos and independent videos and that sort of thing.
How do people find you?
What?
How do people find you?
The company's themusicallyconnected.com.
man. My name is James Martinez. Again, jack of all trades, master of none. I also manage a couple of artists, and so I just was trying to find out some info on licensing for them.
Cool.
Well, it's nice to meet everybody. Nobody's in charge of this thing.
Yes.
You are now, sir.
Yeah, you volunteer.
Well, I don't want to take anything over.
You started this.
Well, I mean, I'm curious. Everybody came here with questions or interests. Like, what is everybody looking to learn, or the connections they're looking to make, or the people they're looking to meet? Like, really, we don't have to raise hands. We all graduated 2nd grade. What sort of info are people looking for? What were people hoping to get out of this? Because I figure that's an easy way to frame this whole conversation.
Well, we're looking to break into the licensing world. I mean, we have 4 EPs out and a full-length album.
Okay.
And we travel the country full time, so we're not based out of anywhere, so it's kind of difficult for us to make these connections. So,
for sure.
And we've been hearing some really wide feedback on where we're at with music in TV and film right now.
Okay.
So like a lot of people are feeling really disgruntled and like, it's over. You know, don't even try for it. And other people are like, that's not true at all. So I we're trying to just get kind of more of a feel for it.
You must have been at the last panel. You must have been at the last session.
That it's probably one of the only places left to make money.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Because
That's good
you're
to hear.
still attaching yourself to something that kind of sells. Like people subscribe to Netflix still.
Yeah.
They,
Shut the door.
they watch shows. They pay for movies, unlike music. So yeah, even if the licenses may have gotten smaller, but honestly, it's one of the places you can still make.
And it's also that there are multiple revenue streams in it.
Yeah.
So if you get a placement, you're not just getting like your upfront money. You also have your publishers and your writing on the back end. And there are additional things that can come of it because there's also exposure involved and that sort of thing.
Right.
So there are a number of things to consider, but also I've seen very small licenses do just as much for things like exposure as major licenses. I've seen songs get put on a 1-minute Bleacher Report video that wind up leading to more music video views on YouTube than if it were in a movie.
Okay, I'm done. What is that?
Which? Oh, Bleacher Report's just like a sports website thing. Yeah, so they do just like little 1-minute videos.
Smaller licenses.
Yeah, but again, they just small licenses, under 500,000 views, that sort of thing.
One of our common approaches, like, is we'll we'll retitle the instrumental, put that up for micro, so this way, if you don't want to lock in, now I forget who is the Production Music Society is essentially putting this big push towards
PMA, yeah.
So they want
they're pushing for exclusive over non-exclusive.
So one thing that we do is we retitle our instrumental so that you can do that for micro, collect a small monthly check from that, and then
How do you feel about exclusive versus non-exclusive? Because we just got somebody proposed a contract to us about they wanted exclusivity, but they wanted 100% of the publishing forever, and I'm like,
I mean, I will say that happens frequently.
Depends how precious you are with your song. If you're like, I can just go write another one and produce it, then
yeah, it depends how you're doing music. I would recommend against that specifically for y'all because y'all are a band making EPs that are artistic visions that you're pushing.
Right.
So you tie it up with one company forever, it's gone. It's gone. Right. If you were more like us, we have our individual artistic things, but we also focus on TV and film, so we're constantly making music with that in mind. Some of those we're more willing to give to exclusives to essentially test out. If they know supervisors that we don't know individually, or they know supervisors that companies we work with don't know individually, then that's an asset to us. So we'll make 3-4 songs and test out an exclusive deal to see what their resources are like and how much they'll push our songs. If it feels like they sit on them for a year, then those 4 songs are lost, and that's a tragedy, but it is what it is, and we still maintain our collection. If they wind up placing it a lot and really do some good work for us, then absolutely, we'll make another 10 over the course of another year. just to give to them because they've done good work, and we'd like to see that revenue increase.
And let's say like from the production side, it's something like a trap beat. Well, we all know that trap beats kind of sound the same, so you move a few hi-hats, do that, and then go on to the next song, you know.
Yeah.
Different rapper.
Right,
Well, we don't quite share that philosophy. We don't quite share that philosophy. But like we rein each other in. This is how we've always worked. No, I like to avoid copyright things.
But what is your little quantity quality statement that you always make?
Okay.
The water.
The water.
So obviously there's a big difference between the macro licensing, which is your majors, your TV, film, all that, and your micro, which is anything from YouTube videos, wedding videos, internal corporate videos. Really, I'll see, I represent a collection of probably about 2,200 songs right now. And I'll see 5 or 6 micro license, $40 a pop, just go a day without me actively doing anything, because I just place them in these company search engines where they look for music. And I do that with everyone I represent. But with micro, it's almost a different game because you need more music. The more music you have, the more you pop up in the search results, or the more you have that specific weird thing that they're looking for. So my cute little phrase, now that I'm saying it in public, unofficial copyright. Quality is king, but quantity is the throne it sits on. And what that essentially means is, please do your absolute best music, but damn, don't sit there for 2 hours really making sure that kick is fat if you're trying to turn over and actually make a profit on the micro front. Right. Like, you have to know the difference between something that's 95% there and is good enough to sell because people are going to use it, versus spending the rest of your life working on that last 5%, getting that master absolutely perfect.
And it's a lot easier than it was even 10 years ago. Just to make a master quality recording.
I have a bunch of people that'll just send it over to Lander or whatever it is. Yeah. I still haven't investigated that fully. Right. But like, yeah, get your stuff done and out there, and that's how it sells.
Yeah.
What sites are you selling these?
I mean, some of it's proprietary, so I won't say too much. But
I mean, is it like MusicBed or?
Oh, anything from Pond 5. I don't really like MusicBed. Production Tracks has the best split that I've seen. They're a 65-35 split, so I really like them. They don't have as much movement. I struggle with a site called Audio Jungle because I feel like they underprice music, but at the same time their volume is phenomenal, and that's one of the places I really had to evaluate my quality versus sort of quantity equation.
Triple Scoop's been good in microphones.
Triple Scoop has been good. They do only happy songs. If you don't have happy songs, donate to Triple Scoop.
Let's talk about metadata too, because the organization, that's what artists are not very good at.
Yeah.
And just we can talk about it. But you guys know what metadata is, right?
How dare you bring it up enough for?
Yeah.
All your keywords, everything, knowing what keywords work for the search.
Yeah.
Tempo, key, they want all of that.
If you want to be good at micro licensing, better have your adjectives together.
Better be good at Excel.
Like
Excel.
Yeah, and like get really good at Excel really quick because you want to keep that stuff organized. But really,
always make an instrumental mix.
Always have an instrumental mix. Good Lord, if that was the trip up.
My early stuff.
Oh, I know.
Tell us about it. Tell us about it.
I use for instrumentals and stuff like that. I use a numeric alphanumeric system where. All right, so I know let's say it's trap, so it's trap A, and so I break for my artists, I break every record that they do down to micro cosms of music, so that we can license even short pieces of that. So I found that to be very successful.
What's the shortest piece you've licensed? I'm curious if you're taking sections of the song. Like a 30-second clip?
Yeah, 30-second clip, 90-second.
Yeah, the commercial links, all that. Yeah. I hear you.
Yep.
Yeah. We do that sometimes, especially when we work on things specifically meant to be cues. We'll break it down to the 30, 60, 90.
Yeah, depends on what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually another great tidbit to be added there, is that having those mixes on hand are great for commercials specifically, but also things like movie trailers and that. There are other little rules that go with that. Always have a hard ending. Don't do a fade out. Good Lord, don't do a fade out.
Please don't.
Like, you want to see a way to get your song not licensed really quick, fade that bad boy out.
Unless it's in an 80s prom scene. No,
They can fade it themselves. Don't put ideas in
That's true,
people's
that's
heads. But certainly in my experience, this is maybe a little off point, but we worked together on a study that just got published in the
MEETUP journal.
Yeah, which was a study of the Billboard Hot 100 list for 2014-2015, trying to detect song trends, and we then use that in the way that we compose music. So some of the trends that we saw, and I encourage you to check out the full article. I did a lot of the research. Dave here was the master author of the whole thing. But short intro, keep your intro under 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That's best for a hit song.
Disappearing third verse.
Disappearing third verse. Third verse is almost gone. Either bridge or nothing, which was especially strange to see in hip hop. I grew up on 90s hip hop. That third verse was always where you brought it home. You don't get that anymore. What else? There are a number of other trends. Obvious trends, integration of EDM and hip hop in your mix. You hit a larger audience by doing that.
And tempo, I would say, like you're gonna have a lot better shot with up tempo with film TV.
Yeah.
As opposed to if you're writing all these slow ballads like all the time. I mean, there's still a need for those, but it's not as much as up tempo.
Yeah.
This lady has a question.
Oh yes.
Are you putting ISRC on all your stuff?
Putting what?
ISRC. That's a good question.
Honestly, no. I'm less concerned with the album sale thing, especially when it's artists that I represent. That's their thing to do. If they have it, I can connect it, but that's about it. On my own stuff, usually it's Shazamable, and that's the way that a lot of people get to our sales through it. Having it listed really does nothing but just put another number in the cue sheet, at least from what I've seen. I could be completely off base, but it's just something I haven't focused on.
That's another whole thing.
We've had a couple libraries ask for it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Maybe one or two
unless you're
total
going,
out of 50.
Unless you're going exclusive with one company, I'd say do not opt into AdRev because
oh yeah, for sure.
That causes a lot of problems if you're putting your stuff with 2 or 3 or 4 libraries non-exclusively, and then you opt into AdRev. Then one library is going to claim that they have AdRev, and then it's going to screw up.
Yeah, it'll flag everything.
It's like if you put it on YouTube and you get money from it.
What is AdRev?
It's a service that collects money from you if you put it on YouTube or
like Rumblefish.
Yeah,
yeah. Rumblefish is the best.
So
what about digital watermarking? Do you do any of that?
I
for protecting from.
Not really.
I used to, not anymore.
Like
yeah.
I honestly, and this is not my professional advice, let me say that, but just in terms of what I do, I've generally stopped copywriting unless we're going to have a major release. I can send it to myself in an email, send it to myself in a physical format, as long as there's some sort of proof that I had it before anyone else. That
we just
really
had
stands.
about 2 or 3 meetings with supervisors, and did you realize all 3 of those said we don't?
Yeah, they said we don't care about copyright, which is this. It's strange, but that's the nature of the industry right now, and I think it's because people are moving so fast, and because you have digital records now.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you have completed your Pro Tools mix or your Studio One mix or whatever it is you're working in, you have the proof, you have the watermarks, it's all there. God forbid someone takes your stuff, it'll get caught. You have your records.
And the other thing about that is, I mean, there's just so much time now. Not only the terrible expense that is
it's taking like a year
right, but
it's
I have literally seen stuff come back to me a year and 7 months, a year 7 months later, like for a record that has been out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Come on, man.
It's like government slow or something. That's crazy. Oh man. Yeah. I don't know. It's never been worth it to me, like you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
If we do a copyright, we'll do it as a batch. I do it as a batch.
Yeah. I'll just send in a data CD of the last 2 years of work, pay $35.
18 songs, batch, one copyright.
Yep.
Yeah, eventually you cover those bases, but the thing is, that's not going to make or break your lawsuit unless you literally recorded on tape, lost your tape, and then somebody else had the tape and copied your song. So if you're doing that, there are other things we need to talk about first.
Yeah. Have you guys had any luck with any microsites, any supervisors?
That was going to be my next question. Actually, is like who do we how do we approach somebody, and B, who do we approach?
Well, one thing I would say is, first of all, you can do all the research, work backwards. Like, you know your genre of music and you see shows on TV. There's so many shows, there's so many outlets. But you go, our music would fit that, right? So then you just work backwards to who the supervisor is, and
Oh God,
And-
I've tried that. It's such a
It's
mess.
shitty, yeah.
Well, there's a new music supervisor for literally like
And
every
so that's
show.
that's why a lot of times we in LA, we're in Nashville, so in LA we'll go through middlemen and we'll say take 40%, take 50%, because you guys are on the ground.
Yeah.
We can't come here for meetings every 2 weeks. We just
Yeah.
can't. Like
Who's your publishing with?
no,
Us?
No,
Oh,
I
you
was
guys.
Are you
asking.
talking about our PRO or?
No, you're publishing.
Self-publishing.
Yeah, we're
So-
self-published.
okay, so
I mean,
wh-
we'd love to have we'd love to have representation, but again, we came from
You can
Nashville
talk with me.
actually.
Oh, really?
What's that?
You can talk. No, but I asked that only because you could do like an administrative deal with a smaller publisher who is really good at being policing and hoovering all of your stuff. And a lot of those companies also have licensing situations. Now within the agreement, they may say, okay, well, it might be a 90-10 or an 80-20 situation for your overall publishing, but as it comes to licensing, it's going to be 50-50 because we're doing so much work to get you to place.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to just look at that situation and see, well, whether or not it's something good that you want to do. But
I
that
have
could be
no
something.
problems paying out somebody who's doing work,
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think like we just get a little bit overwhelmed because there's so many companies out there, and then there's the whole unsolicited material side of things. We're like,
Right.
well, who are we supposed to contact? And I don't know, it just gets.
I think it's a lot of persistence. We just interviewed, I don't know if you know her, but Michelle Weiss-Maslin, and she's had over 5,000 songs in film, TV, and we're like, what's the secret? And she's like, well, I basically market 8 hours a day, and I've been doing that for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, oh, that's interesting. And then she said, well, I just had in the next, I forgot who, it was a pretty big
It's
movie.
downsizing. That
Downsizing.
yeah.
She had two big credits in downsizing. She said the supervisor contacted her, and she'd been sending stuff to this guy for 20 years, like I said. Never one cut. And he comes back and he goes, well, I have these 200 songs of yours.
Wow.
And I like these two.
Oh my
And
God.
it's like, he had been keeping them. And she's like, that
And
made
she's
me,
been contacting the music supervisor directly.
yeah, just emails, boom, boom.
How do we? Because I can't even find these emails, and I'm like going for the Twitter angle or like the Instagram angle, and
I
it's
mean,
just
there's
like I
lists
don't
out
get written
there.
back.
Well, the first thing I'd say is approach my company and we can talk.
Is there a list of directories for supervisors? I remember coming across that
I
one.
mean, there is, but it's BS.
Yeah,
Most of those
yeah,
emails
it's
don't
just
work.
money.
The emails bounce back. Like
That's-
they're just trying
Another
to
way
make
money.
you pay $20 to buy their list.
Yeah.
That's outdated.
Our list is our
Yeah.
most prized possession.
Yeah.
And like everything that we have is built off our lists. And we've spent nearly a decade putting our list together. And these are people we've talked to, we call out, we have annual projects where we have our giant lists of supervisors and then we call them.
And you
One
can't just
goes like-
spam them. You gotta be
Yeah,
Call.
you gotta
So people
call
you've
them.
made a
Yeah.
relationship with.
Because I heard
yeah.
don't call from.
Don't call to follow up,
The-
call initially.
call initially.
Call initially, just don't call to follow up. That's the difference
Okay.
between starting a
Okay.
personal relationship and annoying them.
Right.
Like really, people even give you the advice, oh, follow up after 2 weeks, follow up after a month. I would never follow up. Because once you put it in their hands, if they are not so moved, you become the annoying person that they don't want to see in their inbox. As opposed to being someone that has brought them music. Some people tell you different, this is just my experience on
Nah,
it.
show and prove.
What's that?
You got an email follow up, I think.
Well, no, nah. If you email follow up, you email follow up with like something that's
Yeah,
so
it's notable.
dope. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
But
Like
if
twice
you,
a year or something.
Once you make that initial connection, whether it's in person or on the phone, but a personal connection, then you follow up with how dope I am, not what I want.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's not even really about necessarily pitching, give me this. It's more about, we talked about this and this is what I got. And each time, I got a batch more, or I got this, boom, and done with it. Like, don't be that person that you don't want stepping up to you at the club.
Don't hang around in their inbox.
I was trying
Give
to
them
put
what they want.
myself
No.
in
Yeah.
their shoes, and I always ask them, well, what do you need? It's not like, what am I going to push on
Right.
you?
Yeah,
Do you need
yeah,
like
yeah.
Italian
That's
music,
really good advice.
clarinet music from the 40s? Okay, let me see what I
They
can
don't,
do.
because I was recently in touch with the music supervisor, I think at CBS, just like by a fluke random series of contacts. And because I had followed up with him once.
Oh, Sam?
No, that's
Sam?
not like someone else.
Sam
No,
Diaz?
and it might not be CBS, I'd have to look
See,
it
I'm
up,
trying to
I can
think
do it
who
in a
ours
minute.
is at CBS.
But I followed up once, but I asked him that, and I said, well, what are you looking for? And he didn't really reply. And I'm sorry, it's a she, but her person underneath her is a male. That's who I was talking with, because she said, oh great, talk to so and so.
Yeah.
So so I do think we should like email him again when we have a new batch of songs or like an old batch, because he didn't really reply with that. He was kind of like,
if you have new
short
music,
with his-
that's fine.
Yeah.
Like I think an appropriate email in that situation is, hey, we have some new material that I think is really fitting for some of the shows I know you do.
Right.
Here are these two
particular
songs.
show.
Web links over MP3s for sure, because you don't want to take up all their space.
Yeah. Or like box
Yeah, you can do that. But then say, hey, these are my two new songs. I know you're working on X, Y, and Z, or have been working on X, Y, and Z. We think it might fit. Also, what are your needs? Put it in one condensed space so you can ask your questions while seeming like you've brought something to the table that you think they may want, as opposed to just being the person that has nothing but is asking. And I think it puts you on a better sort of foothold and gives you a better relationship with these people.
Okay. That's good advice.
How much are people like, so like, I know like the hot thing right now is, trap, or like the Kygo tropical thing, like how much are people writing to what they're looking for versus just submitting? That's like the tough thing for me, is I know you're always pushing me to, kind of, go on.
Yeah, Lil Yachty, man, let's do it.
Lil Yachty. Yep.
What do we do? We
Like,
did
so you're writing- are you-
two trap songs.
I do, I only write
It's
to
the hip hop you hear.
Okay, so it's
sorry, I'm
all,
not cool.
you're kind of whatever. Is it all spec, or is it all?
It's
or is-
I work for
all
hire.
hire.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all work for hire?
Yeah.
Do you retain any rights? You still at least
Yeah,
get
I
your
retain
publishing
rights.
and all
Yeah.
that? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I only mostly just work. That's why I wanted to come to this, because I've never really licensed anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I license stuff, but it's always for a project-to-project basis.
Yeah, well, the reason I was curious about what you retain and don't retain is I have a film composer girl originally from Chicago. I met her when I was living in Austin, but she lives here now. But one of the interesting things that I've never seen in a composer contract that she has in her contract is she retains all rights, including copyright, for every project she does. So what she winds up doing is composing directly, but instead of it being a work for hire, she keeps all the material, but then grants license, non-exclusive license for them to use it forever.
Okay.
And I don't know how she negotiated that or why she did, but it certainly works towards then the ends of getting additional licenses on the material you're creating.
Right.
If somehow you incorporated that into your contracts, that would then leave you the ability to do the micro-licensing with these songs, or to even take them to other films and that sort of thing, and make your music continue to work for you.
I work a lot with the Coca-Cola company, and I do yearly licenses. So.
Yeah, okay, for sure, that makes sense, yeah. I don't know, I usually don't do work for hire, but like I'm working on a project with Sesame Street right now, and they only do work for hire. So I gave for the sake of working with them.
Okay.
There are opportunities.
So when you do, like for Coke, is there a lot of performance? Like, do you get performance off commercials?
Actually, I joined the union recently, so I could get performance royalties.
What union?
AFM, Local 47.
Yep.
So I know.
Is it good? Is it good back end, or is it reasonable? Can you make a living?
Well, I just joined, so
Okay.
I'll let you know. But yeah, I think it's a good idea. Yeah.
So what are some of the first steps in someone getting like there's a couple licensing companies in here. What are the first steps that these artists that are in here could reach you or get into licensing their own stuff?
I mean, send the music. For as much business is being discussed here, there still is the altruistic angle to me that is, I want to find a good song and I want to help people that make good songs make money, and I want to make money doing that. I think for all the complications of the copyright and all the things you have to deal with, there's a lot of good that happens in this industry, in this specific sort of sub-industry, if you will, of the music business. So your first step, send music to either supervisors or to people that do the sort of representation that I do, or I know a few other people in here do. Get it in the hands of people that can make this happen if you don't feel like you can make it happen yourself. If you want to make it happen yourself, dedicate yourself to finding music supervisors and music libraries to work with. Quick, easy ways to...
The other thing I'd say, even before you do that, is get really organized. Like, you don't want to be
Yeah,
spending
yeah.
like your whole life, with files. So make, set up a folder, then subfolders. Wave, high-res MP3, low-res MP3, unmastered, instrumental, lyrics, and then a spreadsheet with metadata. And literally every single one of those folders is really essential, because then as you're throwing stuff out, you have everything ready to go. Boom, boom, click. You get on.
All co-writers registered with
All
PROs.
co-writers.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Make sure there's no. No, just kidding.
All co-writers available to sign once again. We do some of these hip hop co-writes, and it's like dudes like AWOL for like 2 weeks, and like.
I know who you're talking about.
No,
I know exactly who you're
publishers like
talking about.
Nashville guys.
And
It's like-
a lot of these licenses are like 24-hour turnaround.
Right.
Yeah,
Indeed.
yeah.
Less.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
yeah, I have
Yeah.
lost significant licenses because we couldn't get signatures.
I've got same day returns.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
oh yeah, same
yeah.
day is real. Like,
It's ridiculous.
the turnover, especially in TV, less in film, especially in TV though, they're ready. I have been informed of licenses where I had signed contracts with people that they could sign on my behalf. I've been informed after they have happened. It happened so quick. They were hours out, and suddenly they couldn't get the signature on the song they wanted, so they needed a replacement song. So I was told the next day, hey, by the way, last night your song was in this episode of whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have your signatures lined up. You've got to be.
That's why I memorized Dave's signature.
I know. Well, that's why I have both of y'all's signatures saved on my computer.
Yo, me too.
Whatever it takes.
Let's be honest
You want to know turn that
The other thing
Sign
I
all
would say
sorts of stuff.
from the production side is get work for hire agreements, especially from singers.
Yeah.
And it's not you singing.
on paper. On
Yes,
paper.
yeah.
Like, have witnesses sign if you can.
Yeah. That is for me. That was like one of the main things when I started representing art, because I came into this industry first as an artist. So when I started representing artists, all the pitfalls that I had as an artist, I understood what I needed to make sure.
Yep.
That right there,
Yeah.
dude, lifesaver for them. For me, it was a heartache, but yeah, you got
I think
it.
you could probably find at least a template online.
Oh, they are. They are. There's
Yeah,
work for hire.
Release, work for hire or release forms.
Yeah.
Like release forms for everybody, even studio engineers. I don't play.
And it just
Oh,
says,
yeah,
like,
oh, yeah,
own
amen,
any of the
amen.
copyright. They just
Yeah.
came in, sang for you for money, or played for you for
Right.
money. Boom, here's the money.
And I don't care if this person is your best friend. I don't
Right.
care if it's
Yeah.
your mom. Like, you get that signature, or you don't send that song out.
right.
That's the rule. And I have seen people think they are making the littlest little bend of the rule. No, it can't possibly be a big deal. And then it's effed us. Like, that's the reality. Be covered. Cover yourself first and foremost at any given point.
It's really
it depends. Yeah, it depends on who it is.
What was the question?
Oh, I was
He asked
asking
me
you
if I do
NDAs ever for something really important.
Yeah.
And what's
I've
NDA?
signed some NDAs, non-disclosure agreement. Yeah. Just big projects will have them.
So is a work for hire agreement, is that for like just like players on your record?
Yeah.
If they weren't co-writers, so are you
They
guys
weren't
writing?
co-writers.
Are you guys writing all as a band? Like, does your drummer get part of the? Okay, so you just need to make sure that you set that straight in writing, or else someone gets in a huge
Especially with
movie
the
and they
band
come after you.
situation.
Those are my
Yeah,
drums.
yeah.
That could be
Because you
Yeah.
think about a drummer, he plays one different note, then that's technically writing. He has created new material, copyrightable material that you did not write. So you have to have all that covered in the first place.
What about mechanicals?
What?
Mechanicals?
I do very little mechanicals. I think David
There, I mean,
actually does more than
There's
I
not
do.
much with film TV unless it gets on the soundtrack. There's no mechanicals.
Yeah.
It's just performance.
Mhm.
So when it
All
plays
the
on
items,
TV,
all
you
like
get
gratis
from
panels.
BMI or ASCAP, you get those royalties, but
And then with mechanicals, there's generally a standard rate.
9.1 cents.
Yep, 9.1 cents.
Unless, of course. Unless, of course, you have a big song that's been doing very well.
Wow.
Meetup yesterday?
Huh?
You were at the meetup
Yeah.
That was-
Then you're
that
16.
That hurt.
Really?
That hurt my head.
Oh man, yeah. It's crazy.
Who was at the meetup?
No, it was the meetup about the one I was telling you about.
Oh, right. The distribution. Yeah.
Do you guys hear about that?
No,
I don't
what-
want to change the subject.
No, please enlighten us.
The MMA
Music
bill.
Modernization Act.
Yeah, the Music Modernization Act, which is a new bill being proposed.
It's ridiculous.
Where it's basically like the government, like basically from what I can understand, the government's gonna become like PRO.
Oh yes, yeah. Let's burn this hotel down.
Yeah.
Okay,
Burn it to the ground.
so let me
interested,
first say that in all honesty, one of the things that I didn't say yesterday but had alluded to, in all honesty, it's no different than any other country's PRO system, because in Italy,
What's a PRO?
Performance Rights Organization. So their most places, their performance rights organization and their copyright is all one. So in Italy, it's CI and
In Australia, it's APRA.
Right,
Yeah,
right. So
just the one.
so
That's all we have.
I like it. I like it in the sense that okay, you don't have to worry about too much. And you get one check, and then if your check is not right, you give a call, and then they fix it. But the negative side of it is how we're going about doing it here in the States, and that's capitalism at its best in within government.
Don't you think though that the CD Baby and TuneCore guys should have been freaking out a little bit? I mean, it kind of directly affects them.
Yeah, definitely
But and
does.
I guess it's just not a perfect bill, but
Yeah.
I mean, welcome to the United States, but
Fair.
that's the problem.
So
I
what's
don't
the thought
wanna
of
change
how
the
it's going to
subject.
affect?
I feel like I should be more red on this side.
Right,
I know,
right.
that's
No, no.
what I felt.
I am very I'm very involved in the legal side of stuff and what's happening in legislation. Even for me yesterday, I was like blindsided by a lot of stuff that was coming. Yes. And when I tell you, like, I'm for real on top of my game.
Yeah.
Like yesterday was mind blowing. So yes.
So this is in the House, Senate,
It's
both?
it's
There's
in
a
the
resolution?
it's in the Senate. It moving to the House.
Okay.
Like May July time. So yeah, like just check out MMA.
Yeah,
Right.
Music Modernization Act.
Is this the thing too where we're gonna give artists performance? Like I'm ready to
Yes,
play?
artist performance is in there, but one of the major things that you're giving up for that is your right to sue.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yo. It's like so your game is about to be completely changed. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, y'all gotta check it out.
That's why if there's like.
To be fair, it's just going to mean more paperwork for me.
So
The mechanics will stay the same. I'm just going to hate myself more.
Yes. So what are ASCAP and BMI doing right now about that?
Laying down and getting in bed.
Oh.
No, real talk.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Well, because it's sort of the thing that if it passes, then they want to be on the right side of it because they don't want to be taken
But
apart.
they're already on the wrong side of it. Even with them getting in bed, they're still already on the wrong side of it because Sound Exchange, which is now governmental.
Well, I'm concerned
Would it
because
all
you've
go
already
Sound
got.
Exchange though? Would it all?
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, that's.
It's the guys that were in RIAA, which defunct. They are all in bed. It's like 3 of them that are just like running the whole thing and running the whole litigation on the legislation that's like screwing everything.
I thought Paul Williams was fighting.
Oh God.
On the ASCAP.
I'm just gonna hope and pray this
And
doesn't
then
happen.
what's the whole thing about Google buying the copyright office? Is that
Yeah, exactly. They're putting their dues in the Library of Congress. That's very scary because these companies live on exploitation of copyright. That's very scary to me. That's exactly what I was thinking.
And not just music, that's all intellectual
anything,
property.
yeah, exactly.
Well, I will say one thing with all of this negativity, which scares the hell out of me, is that one of the reasons I got into licensing in the first place, and I think the main reason a lot of people get into licensing and publishing is because the one thing, no matter what technological changes happen, what sort of artistic changes happen, the song is always worth something. The song is always where it starts. You always need the catchy hook, and there's obviously psychology to it. A good song that resonates with people and keeps people going. The song is what keeps its value, at least in some capacity. This is why I encourage people to get into licensing. Your album sales may be down, You may not have a ton of people at your show buying merch, but damn, if you get that cut in Pretty Little Liars when it's at its peak, then you got $10,000 coming in off the bat that you can split amongst every writer, and then you'll be collecting royalties on that for the next 3 to 5 years minimum with some sort of significance. So that song and that its recording will retain its value even when everything else falls away.
Change some information.
Absolutely.
What's the easiest way to do that? What's the
Yeah.
easiest way to do that? Like, could we do a Facebook group, or that's too much? But
No, I mean, why don't we write it, everybody write their info down on a piece of paper, no, listen, everybody write it down on a piece of paper, and then everybody has a phone, so you take a picture of the paper.
There you go.
Okay.
Everybody gets everybody's contact information.
They're gonna write down what they do.
Yeah.
I know. See, I'm doing all this because I forgot my phone.
Write it down right there.
I knew I'd get caught too, shit.